States. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up my notes. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
I can just start by saying that on 5/28/2024, our unit received 3 additional reports regarding the family. The first involvement was actually on May 17th, and that case went to CARES. So on 5/28, when the additional report came in, it was transferred to our unit. 5/28, 3 additional reports came in. Ms. Graham can give you some of those details.
So 528, the report came in stating that the mother allows men to inappropriately touch her 3 children. Um, the mother fails to ensure adequate hygiene. Um, as the children hair is not done, they have dirty clothes, it's stained, foul odor. Um, a subsequent then came in later on in the day from the Richmond University Hospital social worker stating that mom was transported to the hospital for psychiatric concerns. The children were at the hospital with mom. A cousin came, Victoria Cruz came to the hospital to take the children with her, but upon arrival changed her mind and left. Um, the EMS stated that mom was in her right state of mind and that she appeared to be delusional and paranoid. Richmond University did
One
diagnose.
second. I'm sorry, you're going too fast. I'm trying to
I'm
type
sorry.
all this.
I'm so sorry.
You just said there was a cousin named Victoria. Can you repeat? Go back a little bit regarding the
Yeah.
the cousin.
So cousin Victoria Cruz came to the hospital to pick up the 3 children from the hospital as mom was being admitted into the hospital.
Yes.
Miss Cruz got to the hospital and changed her mind about taking the girls. Upon arrival to the hospital, EMS stated that mom wasn't in her right state of mind and that she appeared to be delusional and paranoid.
Mm.
At the hospital, mom was diagnosed. Sorry.
Okay, at the hospital, she was diagnosed.
On 5/28, mom was diagnosed with bipolar.
Okay.
In the past, mom was diagnosed with PTSD and schizophrenia.
Never diagnosed with.
Okay.
When they asked mom, did she have any resources? Mom stated she had no resources. She had no family to pick up the children, that the children were able to stay alone.
There was also some concerns in one of the reports that mom was engaging in substances. It did not specify which substance.
Okay. Any other concerns before Ms. Sparrow speaks for herself?
Yes, in addition, there are concerns that the children are being left alone for an extended period of time overnight.
We have a 9, an 11, and a 12-year-old.
9, 11, and 15-year-old.
15-year-old. Okay. Any further concerns that we need to talk about right now before we let Ms. Sparrow speak?
No.
So, Ms. Sparrow, you want to talk a little bit about the concerns that were just mentioned?
Yes. I recorded the incident as it played out with the admittance and the forcibly admittance. And Tariana also witnessed some of the stuff because she assists me with recording. And I have the EMT claiming I had my daughters had brought to my attention something that was disturbing about what was going on downstairs for me with some neighbors. And then I made a report. to the police precinct. They're the ones who called in the report on my behalf, from what I presented to them. And then, yeah, the day of the admittance, when they were yelling up at my window, I just yelled out that I reported it to the FBI. And then the EMT claimed that he was forcibly admitting me because I was reporting child trafficking. And then when I stated that it was being recorded, he proceeded to use something that was, I had already corroborated with the police, that was a false report made against me, to show that they were trying to set me up. And after, but he disregarded that. And then they just proceeded to forcibly admit me when I was inside the hospital. My therapist had cleared my admittance, stating that I am not a threat or a danger. And they overrode that clearance and then proceeded to use the bipolar. And I also have a recording of the father downstairs, who I believe is the one um, perpetrating these acts and also making these allegations, that he had people on the inside. So I reported this information, and I feel this is just a retaliatory admittance due to the fact that by claiming bipolar disorder in a court of law, it discredits me as a witness. And that's pretty much it. Since 2013, I've had a diagnosis of PTSD. I've never had no schizophrenic diagnosis. And I do also have a case number with FBI, and they're currently investigating the claims I've also reported as well. So I just want to approach this as ACS and I was saying this to Taikia, I would like to approach this as you guys as an asset to this, not a witch hunt. But I do understand that your investigation needs to proceed forward, and I am willing to um, provide whatever is needed so that you guys can do what you're supposed to do on your end that's necessary, and work together to keep my daughter safe. While that's happening, ensure that the structure that I would like, I discussed earlier with Takia, to be enforced on your end while they're under your guys' care.
So, and maybe, CPS, if you can, thank you, Ms. Sparrow, appreciate that. CPS, if you can just elaborate a little bit, you said that on May the 28th, there were concerns of Ms. Sparrow allowing men to inappropriately enter her home or inappropriately touch her children. Can you talk about that a little bit for us, please?
That's what the case was called in for
That's
on
what
the
it was.
28th. Yes, that's what it was called in for. When I went out to the home to see for my first initial visit, Miss Sparrow was not home at the time. And that's when she was at the hospital.
Okay. So for the children, was it just touching, or was there actual penetration or sexual abuse?
So when I asked the children denied the allegations that anything was going on sexually in the home. They stated mom doesn't have men in and out of the home. Mom doesn't have a boyfriend. It's only mom and the 3 girls that reside in the home.
That's true. My daughters know how to assert boundaries. In fact, Willow does not like anyone, not even me, hugging her. She doesn't like her space being touched. If you try to touch her arm or touch her shoulder, I teach them good touch, bad touch. And if you try to do any of that, she just doesn't like anyone invading her space. So Tariana, same way. Kaya's more of the hugger. She's more of the affectionate child, but she also understands boundaries. I teach my daughters how to assert their boundaries. I also teach them by using how to use their phones to record or or use it as a tool to address anyone who tries to do anything inappropriate or dangerous towards them. They know to record things and the other ones to call 911 if needed. We have safety plans, safety structures that we created in case anything was to escalate with anyone trying to break or enter into the home. If a fire happens inside the home, what is it they're supposed to do? So I don't even want to entertain these allegations because of the fact that it's all efforts to discredit what I believe to be true in regards to the children downstairs. But in the meantime, the girls do homeschool and they also use their phones for homeschooling. I was explaining to Taikia that when I'm on a go, I'm teaching them, business, how to marketing, stuff as we move. And when they question and they become inquisitive, naturally as children, it becomes research they have to do, and then following up with written assignments. Um, Academy is my backup if they have to be.
I'm sorry. That Ms. Farah, the last
Khan
thing you said?
Khan
Something.
Academy. It's called Khan Academy. It's an online school
So,
that allows them to learn
I'm
their
sorry to
level.
interrupt.
Tariana's supposed to take a SAT course on it. So I'm would like for ACS to somehow arrange where as a reasonable accommodation for their learning, to have their phones so that they can access this or access a
Okay.
computer, take them to a library as a solution.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I
Before
don't mean to,
those-
but speaking of homeschool, uh, the first, second, and third quarter reports have not been submitted. So right now they're out of compliance.
Well, that's not making them out of compliance. They're still learning. And I'm allowed to send them within a certain period, and I send them within the period that is good for me. They give me a grace period. It's either the dates that's given, or I send them as needed, and it's just a simple submission of the
Okay,
IHIP form and the progress
can
report.
you send them because they're behind, and I don't want
Sure,
that to
that's not a
interfere
problem.
because I don't want them to be held over.
Yes, of
I
course.
want them
And
to be
and
their
I
appropriate
also
grade.
would like to sign them up for the ELA test, the New York State ELA, see where their progress is at. Gives me an idea of what needs to be worked on, what's their strengths, their weaknesses. Like I said, Tariana's supposed to take the SAT. So we can
Okay,
get her into
that's
that.
something that we could discuss. That's something that we could discuss when we meet with you in person. For the purpose of this conference, I just want to just backtrack a little bit. So, as Ms. Graham mentioned, we got these 3 reports on May 28th in regards to the sex trafficking. And I'm using that word sex trafficking because that is the word that your children will constantly use, that they're victims of sex trafficking, that their foster parent in the past sex trafficked them, that they're scouts out to get them for sex trafficking. And it's very alarming to us.
Well, thank you
It's
Wait
for
a minute.
also
taking that
alarming to
seriously
us.
because I do have
Time
people
out,
that are
time out. I let you
targeting
speak.
us, and I do have
I
reported
let
it.
you speak, Ms. Sarah. It's my turn. It's my turn. In regards to that, we keep receiving reports that the children are being sex trafficked. And if that is the case, and your children are being sex trafficked, you are their guardian, you are their parent, you're there to protect them. That case is being against you,
No, that's
that
false
you're allowing your
allegations. What
children to be
I'm trying,
victims of sex
I'm a
trafficking.
I'm a victim of trafficking from my own mother. My mother's a daycare provider. She abuses her mandating reporting authority. I would not be surprised that she is part, especially due to the schizophrenic and bipolar claims, which is something that she liked to use when I was younger. Um, I wouldn't be surprised that she's part of these allegations being made. She's targeting me using child protective services as a tool to separate me and my kids so that this way she can target us for that. I have been protecting them from that by keeping them from anybody who, which is why the homeschooling is also occurring, because a lot of these people, they will either move into your neighborhood, be your neighbors, or be people who are working in schools, and then like janitors, people that are in positions where they're just wallflowers. That's what terminology, or the fly on the wall. So
So
I
one
don't.
second.
Go
One
ahead.
second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Miss Graham, you said earlier that the children deny any allegations of men entering the home, but are there allegations are they saying that they were being sex trafficked? Because I heard Miss Costelli say that the children are mentioning sex trafficking.
So in the past, they were removed in foster care.
Mhm.
Um, this past weekend, they had a meet and greet, and they stated that they did not want to go with this foster parent due to her reminding them of the previous foster parent that was a sex trafficking worker.
And they went through grooming process. Tariana experienced physical abuse by this foster parent. Willow does not like
Time out.
no
Time
tight
out.
clothes
Time out.
because.
Miss Sparrow. Miss
Hmm.
Sparrow. There was no criminality. There was an investigation done by ACS and the NYPD, and there was no criminality, and that case was unfounded, which
Yeah,
means there was no credibility
but that doesn't
to
mean
those
it didn't
concerns.
happen. If the girls are saying that they experienced things, and
Okay.
I'm telling you that what they told me, and then we're not saying that they were actually trafficked. They didn't experience penetration. They didn't experience someone selling them for sex, for work, for money. They did not experience that. They were experienced abuse, to be groomed, and then they came home before anything was successful, hence why it wasn't founded, because of course I evaded them from being further abused. Now, as far as everything else,
Miss Collins has her hand up. Let her speak.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
let the Miss Collins go ahead.
So initially I did have my hands up, and my original question was about the homeschool, but Ms. Sparrow answered that in her prior response to the earlier question. But now I have another question related to um, the mom. So Ms. Sparrow, you had mentioned that you were a victim of sex trafficking as a
Ye-
child, right?
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, how have you addressed that type of trauma? Because what it seems like, right, is that you are extremely protective of your children, and where they're almost isolated from the outside world,
No,
right?
I
So
don't.
I just want
I
to.
don't. I just to be clear, they're not isolated. We go places. We engage with the community. We do activities. They're
Right, you
engaged.
and them, right, but hold on, you and them, they don't have their own socialization as far as being in school with
That
their peers and stuff like
I
that.
could
So
show
I'm
I
just
could show you text messages where, due to arguments with my neighbors, people didn't want to no longer continue friendships with my girls. So when I'm close to home, I have a saying: I don't shit where I eat. And then I take them where they can engage with people. And yes, I do protect them, and I am protective. Them being under my wings is not a problem. I'm their mother. I'm their first protector. I'm the first person that anyone who wants to harm them will have to go through in order to.
right.
Do you
So
monitor? Do you monitor their social media?
they talk to me. I don't need to monitor it. They come to me and they show me. I engage with my daughter and her friends in her group chat. I know all of them. I know that
You
they.
know that she's speaking to other people in different states, which is a
Yes.
concern.
The,
That is a
the
concern right there for
well,
sex
they're from a
trafficking.
distance. They're all from a distance. None of them know her address. They don't even know her real name. They have code names.
No, Miss
And
Barrow, they share a location app. So it's a 360 app that they share. So they do have
okay.
her location.
So then that's something that's new to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm
Right.
neglecting knowing these things. Like I said, it's something that she would have came to me. I don't invade their privacy, but they do share things with me. I sit there and joke with her friends and her while she's on the phone. I'm there. She'll tell me I'm on call. The video's on. So this way, if I wouldn't walk past if I'm getting dressed and everything. So I'm completely engaged in what she's doing. Now, as far as
So
her interacting with other kids her age, I bring her to the parks. I bring her to events. And then there's other mothers that are single mothers that have children her age that she engages with. This Sunday, they were supposed to go to an event with one of those said mothers. And it was an event where 300 people would have been present. And they would have been present with their kids as well. So I also get involved in community events, non for profit, Snug Harbor. They throw events for the children. So I'm not keeping them
Miss Sparrow,
isolated.
we don't
Okay,
want,
so
we have a
Engaged in
limited
their
time for the conference.
activities.
Continue. I'm gonna let Ms. Collins continue.
So
Okay,
Ms.
go ahead.
Sparrow, so my question to you is, have you ever engaged in services currently or in the past to address your trauma?
Yes, I have, and I continue to. I also, which sparrowinternational.org is also another way of outlet. It's called creating. I built. I also dance. I do artistic outlet. I also help other individuals who are in similar stories as mine to have a platform to be a voice for their story. I inspire. I use Instagram. So yes, I do address my trauma. I show my girls how to protect themselves. That's what I do. I make them aware of the problem because there are reports that come into my phone from Newsbreak and other news related CBS News. I have apps that alert me when a child is missing, especially within the area. Port Richmond was where we was last seen, and I've even posted this information, these facts. So what I make them aware is to be aware of their surroundings. And I don't keep them. Tariana goes out. She wants to go to the mall. She went to the mall to meet up with a friend. She wants to go to a mall to meet up with a friend, but hasn't done so yet. But she's been bugging me. I'm just moved here, February. I'm settling in. So summer came. Now the opportunity for her to do these things. Now she's in a facility where there's security guard and she can't get out. She has to go out in the city, and now she's no longer. This neighborhood is actually a pretty safe neighborhood despite what's happening or surrounding my house
Off
because of
topic right now, but we
the
are
neighbors and the type of
topic.
neighbors I have.
Ms. Collins, can you proceed with the type of services that you were talking about?
Yes, thank you. I was specifically asking about, I think it's great that you're doing all of this community stuff, activities and everything like that, and you sound very creative, which
Mhm.
is very good. But clinically speaking, as far as like therapeutic,
Yes,
any psychiatrists, are you able to tell
my
us what
psychiatrist
the
and I,
original diagnosis is, if you're on
my
any medication?
my psychiatrist and I had actually disengaged our treatment towards each other because I no longer needed I didn't need her because I didn't need any medication. I have a
Okay.
therapist that I was engaging with that I kept seeing. Me and her, when the courts isn't involved, I get to see her as often as I need to. And on top of that, if like, let's say work gets in the way, she's the director of the facility now. Sometimes she gets, think she has to travel and represent the facility. We reschedule and then we see each other, but we stay engaged. I have her text. I've have her cell phone number up until recently. They just recently changed the policies, but I even when there were times I would text her if I was even having a situation where a trauma response
What
was
is your
happening. Mario
therapist's name and
Jueves.
what agent?
Mario
And,
Jueves, and she's from the Brooklyn Vet Center.
and how long have you been with Maria Hueves?
28. I've been going to her specifically since 2018, but I've been receiving therapy under both Manhattan VA and Brooklyn the Bronx Vet Center since 2013. And then I transferred her to her in 2018.
So you're a vet, you're a veteran?
Yes, ma'am. US
Oh,
Army.
really? What branch?
United States Army.
Okay, when were you in there?
2002.
From 2001 to 2002?
I came in exactly at 2002 and I stood in there only less than a year. Hmm.
So you only stayed in the Army for less than a year. Were you dishonorably discharged or were
No,
you
I'm
discharged?
I'm honorably discharged, and I'm service connected currently.
What do you mean service connected currently?
I have military benefits that allows me to support myself in my endeavors, including therapeutic treatments of self care, like a massage or going out with the girls, going to take them on vacation around the time their father passed away, stuff like that.
So you get VA benefits
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well,
Yes,
and they
ma'am.
cover your mental health services.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, I need to focus on the concerns that we spoke about.
Sure.
So, we spoke about the children's hygiene. What seems to be the issue?
The girls are teenage girls, and there's no issue other than when I want them to get in the shower, they move at their own pace. That's it.
What about the hair? Because I'm hearing the hair is unclean, the clothes are unclean. What's
Well,
going on with that?
excuse me. I was sorry, I was just eating something and went down the wrong tube.
So the initial report from CARES, because we did not get in the home yet. Mom just got out of the hospital.
Yes.
The only concerns about that was that it was cluttered. There appeared to be dirty clothes.
That's
As
that's
far
not
as the
dirty clothes. That's all just I have a lot of clothes, and then when I'm getting
the
dressed,
yeah,
huh?
as far as the clothing, from what we observed with the children, I don't know if it's just because they're at the center, um, but their clothes were a bit stained. The girls have been
You guys,
showering daily now at the children's center. There don't appear to be concerns. I know Takia met with them
yeah, the
as
clothes they
well.
were sleeping, those are their pajamas. I whatever they stain and it's no longer good becomes their pajama. I recycle that. And then when the admittance happened, everyone just woke up out of bed. No one was fully dressed.
And what happened with Victoria Cruz when she came over to pick up the children? Why did she turn away
They
and
turned
just
her
say
away.
forget about it?
They refused her. The doctors and the staff were the ones who turned her away, and they made up. They just used an excuse. She just asked a simple question: how long is she going to be admitted for? And then they twisted that to saying that she didn't want to take them because she didn't know how long, and she never said that. And then she made a follow up report to the New York State Justice Center in regards to that.
Okay. Are you on current medications right now, Miss
They gave
Sparrow?
this current in the hospital gave me Abilify. I took it today. I've been complaining. She gave me a very low dose. It's 0.2 milligrams, and it was and it's just to address once I get a psychiatric care at Manhattan VA to address this, and then from there, I prefer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I prefer not to take it, but I'm willing to do so for the sake of the case. I don't feel like I need it. I'm a very calm woman. I'm not.
What were you taking prior to going to the hospital?
All I did was marijuana, and I'm open about my marijuana use. So I have edibles, and I'll show you them. And I could even show you that the ones that are partially bitten because I don't take them fully. I just take enough, and which makes me chill. It doesn't. I don't. And then recreationally, I do smoke, but I don't smoke in front of the girls or around the girls. I
Was
have
your
to stare.
therapist aware, Miss Maria Jueves?
Yes. And you see, this is like it's a small piece. I take them in pieces, but I don't do, that's it. And Miss
And
Webber
Okay,
where
so
do you?
Miss
is aware it.
I'm
Jueves,
sorry.
did she prescribe you anything, or
No,
is
she's
any
not.
psychiatrist?
No, she cannot because she's a federal a therapist. I had gotten a friend of mine had introduced me to a medicinal marijuana therapist, and then when I was at going to one of the clinics, the dispensary, the lady introduced me to someone who would do it for free because I'm a veteran. and he was vet friendly. So I transferred to him, and then it became legal and then not necessary for me to go through the medicinal marijuana anymore.
So
I'm gonna
can
let
we
Ms. Collins.
just
Go ahead,
so
Ms. Collins.
can we just clarify something? Do you currently have a medical marijuana card? Yes or
Yes,
no?
yes, ma'am, I do.
And okay, great. And do you currently retrieve your marijuana, either edibles or smoke, from the dispensary still?
No, I go to the local smoke shops because I don't. It's there's no local dispensary unless I'm out in Brooklyn. I haven't had to do that since, like I said, since it's become legal, it hasn't been necessary.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because you said you disengaged from therapy with someone, but I wasn't sure who that
No,
person was or what the
not
agent.
disengaged. What happened was, um, if I require medication, the psychiatrist gets involved. If medication is no longer required, there's no need for a psychiatrist because that's all she does. She addresses the medication treatment.
Who was that psychiatrist?
Dr. Cresseman,
And where is she from?
the Manhattan VA.
Okay. How are the children? Are there any concerns for the children homeschooling? Because I heard you say they were homeschooling.
Hmm.
Okay. Ms. Costelli, I heard
Yes,
you
she has
say.
not. Right, she hasn't submitted any of the quarterly reports. So
I
there's
Okay.
supposed
submitted
to
the
be 4
first and the
reports
second.
submitted
I
for the
just have to
year.
submit the third and the fourth quarterly.
When did you submit it? Because I just got this information today.
The second quarterly was in December.
So they never received anything because as of today,
I'll
they're
look up
missing
the
3.
email and then I will see it. I will look for it. And then as soon as I settle down, I was actually going to take care of that today. But because of this meeting, I stood home and I focused on cleaning and then getting dressed. So as soon as I'm done, hopefully I'll be able to usually I go to the local coffee shop and then I can use their Wi-Fi without a problem and then submit stuff.
Okay, Ms. Costelli, just for clarity, these quarterly reports are submitted to whom? Is it the DOE?
They have the homeschooling
Yeah, the
department.
homeschool.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
thank you.
Sorry, yes. And it's it's a department of homeschooling under the DOE. And then they even have
Thank
their own numbers,
you.
student IDs.
And the hospital that you were taken to when you said you were forcibly taken to the hospital, which hospital was it?
Richmond University Medical Center.
Okay, and how long well, you're still currently there. Is that correct?
No,
No, when were you released?
yesterday,
How long were you there for?
since Tuesday night. I came into the hospital Tuesday morning and then they transferred me up there Tuesday night. See, the problem
And you
with my
said they
mental health is not that I don't address it. The problem with my mental health is that people use the triggers and the knowledge of my mental health as a weapon to try to bully, incite. I don't have a flight response. I do have a fight response, but hence why I went back to school, became a paralegal, wanted to be a lawyer. So I address everything as a paralegal.
What was the trigger? What was the trigger this time?
Go ahead.
What was the trigger this time for you?
In the MST, I was drugged and raped in the army, and then the lady had 4 men surround me and then forcibly injected me right after I told her that was my trauma. And the nurses witnessed it.
Wait
That
a minute.
happened while you was in the
Go
army?
ahead, Nina.
Yeah, but what happened was when they turned Victoria away, I was livid and I expressed it. and I advocated for myself, and I was knocking on the window for them to call the doctor. I wanted a new doctor to address the situation, to speak to Marielle, jump back on the phone with Marielle, and reverse what they were doing. And then they responded by doing that instead. They try to use the fact that if you're righteously angry, that's a mental health crisis. But that's not a mental health. Being angry is not a mental health crisis. The mental health crisis is the trigger, the trauma, and the anger is just an emotional response to it.
That's me because can you let me in? I'm gonna sign off on this device.
Okay,
My
yeah, hold
camera-
on, let me let you in 1 second. Um, are you in? Because I don't see you anymore. Let me see. Yeah, you should be in now. Can you hear us, Miss Costelli?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Miss Collins, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just trying to get some clarity because Miss Costelli asked Miss Sparrow what triggered you this time, and you mentioned this horrific assault that happened to you in MST, but I wasn't sure if you meant that this happened while you was in the Army, or this happened while you were in the Army, this
Yes, ma'am.
assault?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then another
So you were
time,
triggered by,
another time, my mom used Xanax to put when I was 22, and then my stepfather was raping me as a result.
okay, so I'm just trying to understand the correlation to your answer to Miss Costelli's question. So
So,
what happened to you in the past, and then what happened to you at the hospital when they turned Miss Victoria away, that's what triggered you?
well, no, I was just pissed that they turned Victoria away because the intent was to throw them right. This is the results, the foster care, and that was the strategy.
Mm,
So I was
okay.
livid and I was expressing that. And there's nothing that is going to tell me that because I was angry as a mother trying to prevent my children from getting thrown into foster care, that was a mental health crisis. So, excuse me.
But I want to take a pause for a minute because I don't think
Sure.
you're understanding. So on May 28th, on Tuesday, you were knocking on neighbors' doors,
I was not.
accusing them of being sex
I was
trafficker
not knocking on no one's
employees.
door. I
So
woke
when
up to,
EMS came, can I finish?
uh-huh.
When EMS came, you were acting in a delusional state.
That's,
This is what the medical professional called it.
and I got a recording corroborating.
And they said that you were acting paranoid because the police have been involved with that neighbor of yours for several weeks now, and there's
Well,
no concerns or criminality
prior
there.
to the police getting
Miss Sparrow,
involved,
you're not letting me finish.
I'm sorry.
So
Go ahead.
it seems that something triggered you that day
No,
for you to result you in the emergency room.
no,
Just
no.
like back in February, something triggered you in February, and you
No.
sent your children to North Carolina.
No, 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 nope, nope, nope.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. Brunia,
Nope.
you want to just continue?
That's false.
Yeah, you said in February there was a mental health crisis where the children were taken to North Carolina.
Nope. There was
The children were sent there
I
because there was a concern regarding mom's mental health. Yes.
No, that's bullshit too, because I had spoken with my father and planned to send them out there because Willow wasn't listening and I had to take care of business. She wasn't getting dressed where I could get out during business hours to address moving and going to address getting moving expenses taken care of, like going to the VA during the business hours. So the girls, I felt I didn't want them to deal with the stress of the moving, so I sent them to their grandfathers as a vacation.
Miss Sparrow, maternal grandfather said he was unaware of them coming.
I have
when they
text messages to
when they
prove otherwise.
arrived in North Carolina, they had no clothes. The clothes they had on were dirty.
That's bullshit too. I'm sorry, no offense. I'm not trying to curse at you guys. This is where it's infuriating, and I'm totally infuriated by the ludicrous of the claims, because I got text messages to show that me and him were planning. that there was a flight booked.
That's not true, because we also have police reports that you and your children were calling the police saying
Yeah,
he
because
kidnapped the children.
no, he
So
was
that's
starting,
it. That's
he was
false.
threatening, nope, he was threatening to
And
abandon
Miss
them
Sparrow, until you
inside.
take
You see?
accountability for these concerns, we cannot move forward.
Oh, please
In
don't
order
even
for
play that
you,
game with me, because
in
here's
order
the deal.
for
My girls
us,
and what happened to me as a child is not going to be used as a tool to keep my kids in
you're
foster
right.
care. And you're not going to use
It's not.
something, you're not going to use lies when I clearly, you didn't even, none of you came to my home. None of you seen the text messages to deny the fact that they're lies, to counter their lies. And then the recordings. I post stuff on my Instagram too. So there's information. And I recalled the police because he was threatening to abandon them at a police station. And then he was telling them that he was trying to coerce them to agree that they wanted to go in foster care. Their goal was to throw them in foster care, and you guys played right into their hands. So
That is never
it's
their
either
goal. Your
it's either
father is fighting for your
it's
kids
either
right now. No, that's
ACS is
not
an
true.
asset to help protect my kids, or ACS is a tool to oppress my voice about what happened. Which is it? Because that's all lies. And if you guys want to sit down, I have your email, Taikia. I will send you the text messages that would definitely, I would like for if you guys could tell me in a email letter form all those falseness that they're claiming, and then I could send you the evidence along with a CC to my lawyer that corroborates my story and shows that they are outright lying, because my daughters need to be home with me. If anything, the resources of
Okay.
ACS can be used is to help us. Maybe I'm in a process of looking for someplace new. I'm in a
Okay.
process of addressing the fact that I'm not lying about what happened to me, and I'm not going to have a bipolar disorder diagnosis from someone who knew me for less than a week versus years of my therapy and diagnosis of PTSD be countered to discredit me as a witness. I am not sitting here going to be patronized either for having a situation that I did not have no choice. I did not choose who my mother chose to be. I did not choose who she chose to be towards me. And that's not going to be used to sit here and patronize me as a mother. That is not happening. We are either going to
All
sit
right,
here and
Miss.
discuss a safety plan as I was told this conference was about, not a witch hunt.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Sparrow. So currently the children are at the Children's Center.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I would like for us to just address that while they're there. I need them, even if you got to take them to the library with a chaperone.
Miss
And that would be
Sparrow,
good
the
family time with each other, too.
Miss
I
Sparrow,
was
the children are allowed on the computer. When I went to visit them, the 11-year-old, I think Willow,
Hmm.
she expressed to me that she was on the computer instead of her doing schoolwork. She
Yeah,
decided
like
to
to
play
play
games on
video
the computer.
games. Because she needs a parent or an adult to reinforce her doing
The
homework,
children
to
will be
stand on
enrolled
top
in
of her.
public school. The
Hmm?
children will be enrolled in public school.
Yeah, in Tottenville Public School, the Goods Public School, we will work on
No,
addressing
wherever they're
that.
placed.
You see, and you
They're
guys are
not
about to send them
guaranteed to
to
be
an inner
placed in
city
Staten
public
Island.
school. You're about to send them to an inner city public school,
Your
denying them.
children, Miss Sparrow, your children refused an excellent placement this weekend. I participated in the meeting, and the foster mother has 28 years of experience. She has a beautiful home, and your daughter said she reminded her of her ex-foster mother who was a sex offender.
Okay, so
And
then
that
that,
is false. There is no
so,
placement
so,
on Staten Island. They will
so,
most likely be placed in Brooklyn. So they will attend a public school in Brooklyn.
oh, great. You guys are good. But listen, we're going to address this appropriately. My daughters were zoned in one of the best school districts. Are you telling me that you're going to use ACS to remove them from the best school district, or have a resource to transport them to the school that they're zoned, that is a better school district where that has activities that they could freely be
so
involved
the
with, including
children, Miss
basketball,
That
Sparrow,
soccer,
wouldn't be in
and
their
other
best
activities?
interest.
the
They could
children
just
were
go,
already
they could
removed.
have
They are
you guys
already
could
at the
arrange a
Children's
busing.
Center.
They could get
Miss
bus.
Sparrow, Miss Sparrow, Miss Sparrow, the children were already removed. They're already at the Children's Center. Miss Costello, you said there was a meet and greet. When was the meet and greet held, please?
Saturday.
Saturday. So they refused the placement because it says that they said it reminds them of a previous placement. So they
What
didn't want
about,
that placement.
well, you guys are supposed to, and the only reason why I had no involvement in the placement of the next of kin or anything else was because I was stuck in the hospital. So now that I'm not stuck and they're still in the children's center, I would like to be invested in doing so. I don't want to I don't want them to be removed from Tottenville. Maybe there's a solution. I'd rather address the fact that we agree that education and them being in a better school district will be within their best interest, don't we both? Or don't we all agree with that? And if Tottenville offers that, why not work with me? And it's the summertime. We got time.
Because they found, no, you can't leave the children at this children's center. It's not
I'm not leaving them
it's
there.
not, it's just
I
a
don't want to leave
holding
them there.
place.
I
No,
don't want to leave them there. What
right.
I'm
So
saying is
they
the
found,
foster home that will have
Miss
to
Sparrow,
take them.
Miss Sparrow, Miss Costelli said they found a home. I think she said in Staten Island, but the
Where?
children declined. They declined.
It's not the
So now
children that's declining it.
But where is it located?
Taharia declined the home.
Where is it
So
located?
it's the oldest. Yes, it's the oldest that declined the home.
Where is
okay,
it
were the children
located?
going to
Does it? Miss Bernier, what did you say?
No, I didn't say it. Miss Graham said it.
No, I said that the oldest Taharia declined the home.
Yeah, where was it located?
That doesn't matter. It was on Staten Island.
You see, that does matter. That does matter. Because if you're
They didn't
if
know
I
where
was
the home was
supposed,
located. It was a meet and greet so they can meet the family.
but where is the home
Not the
located?
address
Is
was
it within the school?
the
Is
address was
it
not disclosed, Miss Sparrow.
It's
okay?
irrelevant. They cannot be placed there. We need to move on.
You
Miss
see,
Sparrow, tomorrow
how
you're
are you
gonna
going
meet
to use?
you're
How are you
gonna
going
meet
to wait?
Miss
Wait, wait,
Graham in
wait. No,
person
how is
tomorrow.
this within the best interest to remove them from a better school district? How is that within their
They
best
were never
interest?
in a better school district, so it doesn't
Tottenville is in a
matter.
better
That's
school
irrelevant
district.
right now.
Tottenville is the
We
better
will
school
discuss that
district.
tomorrow.
Okay,
We
so
will
that's
discuss it tomorrow.
so now you know the direction, the trajectory I'm going. I still want us to address placing them in a proper foster home temporarily while we address these allegations. Also, a proper investigation, because if I was forcibly admitted into the hospital, that's without, I have the right to defend. And you guys, you were supposed to come to me before. I had a cares lady. She didn't even feel the need to remove the kids when she was called. ACS has been called several times and not once did they remove them. So can we address it as such? Because if I
The
told you I had a
children were
report,
removed
if I
before.
told you I made a
The children
report,
were removed in
I'm still
2018.
making that report. And anyone who's involved in this situation will be included in that report. I don't care who it is. I don't care where it's from. And then we're going to address my daughters having a better education. And we're not going to play
Okay,
games.
so we're gonna have to move forward, okay? Because we can't
Good.
go past
We
the
will
time.
move forward.
So in regard to strength, I heard Miss Sparrow mention several strengths. She said that earlier that she teaches her children good touch, bad touch, right?
Yes.
She said that she teaches her children to be safe. Okay, while at home, she teaches them to use the phone and things like that. So she did talk a lot about preventive and safety for her children. Were there
Yes.
any other strengths that we would like to add for the
Thank you.
conference?
Thank you, Miss Goulian. I appreciate it. If I'm pronouncing your name right, I apologize if I'm wrong.
No problem. You can feel free to add strengths for your children. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your children? Are they involved in activities? What do they like? What are their favorite
Tariana plays
subjects? Are they medically
basketball.
up to date?
So there's a basketball program. I was waiting to
Speak a
move.
little.
There was a basketball program. I was waiting to move to reassign them back into it. They go, it's located in the city. It's actually within the area that they're actually currently at. It's the name of the program is called Steady Buckets. Wulu wants to be part of soccer. Tottenville offers soccer as part of their curriculum for free. And also dance. So does Kaya. Kaya wants dance as well.
Okay.
Ariana wants to do martial art.
How are,
What we
Go
do
ahead.
currently is Willow and Kai are supposed to also be in a movie where they're playing two lead roles in the movie. They're actually getting paid for it. and they missed the filming this weekend. So they are involved in stuff. Snug Harbor is one of my regular paying clients every year. They usually pay me to be part of their Sprinkle Fest and family friendly events where the girls come in and they play with the other kids at the events. So there's things that they do. Tariana is a leader. She knows how to organize other kids. She knows how to gather the children and get them to participate in the activities. She's good with that. Willow, she's my little diva. She likes to be pretty. Let her she always plays with her hair. So even if I do her hair, she removes she'll take it out to do her own experiments. She's going through that phase. And then she likes to play with my wigs, and I let her wear my wigs so that she could express herself. Um, Ta-
Okay.
Kaya is an eager helper. She always tries to help clean up, doing stuff around the house, or she just likes to be around. She likes to be around me. We used to watch the Legends of the Monkey King together as a family. So there are things that we do together, and then I let them have their space. Tariana takes trips to the mall. I let her go on her own. I allow her to go on walks on her own. We go to the beach, we collect rocks. Kaya and all of us are into collecting stones, seashells. I have like little mementos around the house of them like they make these little doll houses out of paper. I don't know if you can see it. Uh,
Okay.
but and
I'm
then
sorry. Thank you, Ms. Farrell, for sharing that.
they're very
But I do
creative.
have an important question. 1 second. Do any of your children have allergies to anything? I just
So
have to ask that question.
Tariana is a little bit allergic to the cats where she cannot touch the cat litter. Willow and Kaya don't have no allergies, so they're the ones who handle the cat litter, or I do. But she's not allergic to the cats themselves. Uh, they lactose intolerant, and that's pretty much it as far as I know.
Okay. So thank you very much for sharing the strengths of the children with us. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be moving forward now, Ms. Castelli, to the service plan. What services did you look at before, or were you looking at?
So I understand that the mother has a therapist. She did sign a HIPAA, so we will be reaching out to the therapist.
It's fine.
Did Rumsey make any additional recommendations regarding your mental health?
Just to follow up with her.
So now you're on medication, but the therapist doesn't do medication. Are you going to have to go somewhere else?
Well, yeah, and then that's a benefit for me. So what I will do is I can get a caregiver too. So which is what I'm working on. I have someone who is my caregiver already, but she's just not official. And and she's my cousin, and we was talking about moving in together to address the fact that now I'll have a helping hand. That's the same cousin, Victoria Cruz, who came to come pick up the girls in the first place. She's a great support
So, Miss
system. She makes
Farrell,
sure we get out the house. She brings us to get treats and has dinner time. We have family time. She's a good anchor of someone that shows that she's present. And I love her very much. She's a
Miss
really good woman.
Miss
Um,
Farrell, I hear that you said that Victoria is willing to move in with you
Yeah.
on Staten Island.
Well, we're talking about buying a house, so it will be depending on where that can be possible. I would like Staten Island, and I would like to stay in the area I'm at. It's just a matter of, is it possible?
Okay. Because
Mhm.
she was one of the resources, but when I asked her is she willing to stay with the girls on Staten Island, she stated she was not able to because of work.
Yeah, she has she has to work for the MTA. But that's because at the current moment, me and her don't drive. We was discussing that as a resolution.
Thank you. Ms. Castelli, you can proceed with the services.
So we would like to get a copy of the discharge papers just so that we know which direction to go for the mother's mental health.
Sure. I would like to first address that with the VA. and because they put a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, and this is, I first of all, I want the VA to assess this diagnosis to me because of the fact that they only knew me for 5 days to give me a diagnosis. I was in there for 7 days. Something like that requires, and they released me. So releasing me, because I was being compliant with the medication, shows that they don't think I'm needed for intensive care. So I want to address that with the VA before I give you a copy, and then have them also do their own psycho evaluation so you can have it.
That
Because
would be great. So you would be open to doing that? That would be wonderful.
yes,
Okay,
I
so we
would
could
be.
put that down. Mom will have a new evaluation with the VA.
I would
We're
not
also
be
going to ask
admitted.
mom
I'm not saying I
that,
want to be admitted. I'm saying I'm going to go through a psychiatrist. I want to be
we also
clear.
would like mom to take a random drug and alcohol test.
That's not a problem. Why
Yes.
alcohol?
We want the girls in,
Second,
it's just,
second.
it
We let
goes
it.
hands in hand, drugs and alcohols hand in hand.
Okay.
We want the girls to be enrolled in trauma therapy.
Yes, I agree. And I also have I just got Medicaid. I would like to enroll them under the Medicaid, and then you guys can I want to address like Tariana getting she needs her vaccine. I got a letter from her old doctor. Needs a up to date for her vaccine. She has one
So
vaccine. I think it's that HVP. I think that's what it is.
she is behind on some vaccines. It's our understanding that the children haven't seen a doctor since they've been in foster care.
No, they've seen a doctor since a year ago, and I pay out of my pocket. They actually, no, less than that. They saw a doctor recently. Kaya was inside the
Okay, who's the
hospital.
doctor?
I had to put Kaya in the hospital because she had a viral infection. So I was following up. The May 29th was her follow-up appointment, but because of the situation, she missed it. So I don't know who her doctor is.
Okay. The
the
children will
children-
also be the children will also be having a forensic interview.
So they'll be checking these allegations of rape,
No.
right?
Oh, well, that's what
Is the
it's
GYN checkup
it's
going
a
to be
no,
female?
no, no, no. No, they're not getting a GYN exam.
Thank you.
No, we don't do that.
Thank you. I was concerned.
If there's no outcry for any rape or any penetration, that's not something that is recommended.
Okay, great.
Medicals, they all need an updated physical. The school situation we'll have to address. But if you have those quarterly reports, please submit them so that they get credit for their grade that they're currently in, so they don't get held over.
Yes, definitely.
What was this thing Miss Farrow was talking about earlier? ELA testing for the children? Is that
That's
something?
too late. It's too late. That happens once a year, and that occurred already. Once they do get enrolled in public school, that's an optional test now. It's not even a mandated thing. It used to be mandated. It's not anymore.
Oh, I didn't
You
know
can
that.
opt out, opt in. Yeah, so that's something that we could explore down the line, and mom will
It's just
participate in that.
it's just I want to check their strengths and weaknesses.
Right. The mother will have supervised agency visitation. I'm just trying to go down the
I find
list.
it funny that this, like, I made a similar report, but my kids are the one that are removed. You know, it feels targeted.
The service plan. 1 second, Miss. I want to continue the service plan because I have to document this. Go ahead, Ms. Castelli.
I think that's it as far as services. We have the mother's mental health, and she's willing to do the new evaluation. We need the children to get into trauma therapy. I think that they may benefit from having a mental health evaluation themselves.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, and
I believe Willow might be autistic. She exhibited some of the
Is that the
signs.
11-year-old?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. I didn't meet her, but in reading some of the notes and how she presents and her
She's super
her
intelligent.
interactions with the staff, well, they always are.
Yeah. And that's my prodigy child. She took my real estate book and read it. So, and she and it's cute. These are the things I'm missing. Like you'll hear her galloping in her room back and forth. I let them be. That's where the homeschooling is. Just let them have a safe space to be themselves, without the expectations
Go ahead, Miss Collins.
of those things.
So in regards to services, earlier it was mentioned that their father is deceased.
Yes.
Was that correct?
Yes, and
And
they
how
went through
long
grief
has he been
therapy.
Oh, they did.
Yes, and they were cleared too.
Okay, great. Then okay, that was my question. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I did that
He
immediately.
has been deceased since
16.
2018?
16.
16.
Miss Costelli, is there an upcoming meet and greet?
We're not doing a meet and greet anymore. There are 2 possible placements as of today. They're going to work on that. I also just want to put it out there that the paternal aunt, Jenny Sparrow, appears to be a resource, and we're just trying to work some issues out with that.
I had a dispute with her because I was told the doctors alienated anyone they tempted to alienate anyone who was part of it. They claimed she wasn't trying to, but me and Takia talked. Me and her are talking, Takia, where I told her I want to resolve this. We've been going back and forth and explaining everything, but I trust Jenny. I trust her with my kids and everything. But
she just has a lot going on right now with her own children, so we're trying to see if
and I assist
that
her
could
with
be
that.
worked on.
Yes, and we are a support
to
system
see.
with each other.
But
So Jenny Sparrow is a possible kinship resource.
yes, there's some issues she has with her own children right now that we're going to see if that could be worked out on.
Mm-hmm.
And you said paternal aunt?
Paternal, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
On
their
the father's
father.
side. Okay.
That's their father's sister.
And does Jenny reside in Staten Island?
No, she
Brooklyn.
resides in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Thanks. All righty. All right.
And it's to
thank
the
you,
point.
Miss.
I'm willing to pay for a car service for them to come to Tottenville and go back and forth. I did this when I was younger for Queens to Long Island when my mom didn't want me to go to Grover Cleveland High School because of the reputation it had. I'm willing to work with this. I want them to get the best opportunities of education. Or let's look into private school as a resource.
We could discuss that as we move along.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's going to have a supervised visit tomorrow.
Yay!
It's going to be at our field office.
In Staten Island?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same one with the children's center over there?
It's
off the
by
46?
the St. George Theater.
Okay. Oh, that
Ikea
area.
can text you the address.
The one I know which one you're talking about. That's the big green building.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think 3:00 would be good.
Yes, that's fine with me. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You said 3 p.m. Okay. And what was the decision? But well, I know what the decision was, but if you can just say it so I can.
So an Article 10 petition was filed in family court on May 29, 2024, regarding concerns of the mother's mental health. The children were remanded. They placed in foster care, and the next court date is June 13.
Mm-hmm.
You said June 14?
13th?
June
13,
13th.
sorry.
And tomorrow we'll give you the address for that also.
Sure. Thank you. And is court going to be in person or like this virtual?
Yes, in person. No, in person.
Yay. I actually like the
Is there a
classes.
full stay away, Ms. Caselli, or no?
There's a little bit of confusion with the order of protection, so I just advise the mother not to try to reach out to the girls.
I only reached out to them once in the hospital. Victoria has been the point of communication for me. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we've been
All right,
doing
so
it
can
that
I
way.
just document I know there's a confusion, but can I just document that order of protection in place instead of putting full stay away? Or can I just, because I need to put something?
Is there
You
a
could
stay
put full
away?
stay away. That's the recommendation.
So wait,
That
wait,
is,
wait. Is
okay.
there a full stay away though?
So the part of the court is down this week. So we can't verify. The part is down.
So is it possible that I
So
can communicate with them somewhat on some type of
right
level
now that
that's reasonable?
it's our recommendation that you do not communicate with them unless it's
We're talking
supervised.
about mental health. Do you think that's good for their mental health to sever communication to their only living parent?
Tomorrow, I'm not saying there's no communication. You'll see them tomorrow, and then maybe we can go from there as to what the expectation will be.
Like I said, I would like to address this as an asset and see if we can just remove the order protection and then allow communication to ensue, because we understand they have very few living family members they can trust and rely on. As a reasonable accommodation
We'll
request.
discuss that tomorrow.
As a reasonable
Okay,
accommodation
Miss
request.
Philomena, can I have your email address? You'll get a copy of the summary later today.
Me?
Yes, Miss Sparrow.
It's
Yes, Miss
Sparrow.
Sparrow.
Okay, Sparrow International. All one word. LLC at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Sparrow International LLC at gmail.com. Thank you. And your phone number?
Is 646 833
Mhm,
8154 if you need
mhm.
to leave a message, because my cell phone is 917 564 4499. My messages fill up very quickly on my cell phone, and it takes me time to go through them.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Sparrow.
Yeah.
1 second. I just want to make sure I have everything I need here.
See, I don't want the attack on my mental health to be that. I want us to embrace it so that my daughter, who's dealing with a newly diagnosis of autism, can embrace hers. Can we be positive and use positive reinforcement?
It's not an attack. We want to be positive. We don't want
Okay,
to, I don't
great.
want you to feel like you're being attacked. I
I
just
do.
want to make sure we are addressing all the concerns
The
so we can put a
allegations
plan in
and then
place for it.
saying I have to stay away from them, that feels attackative. If you're not attacking, let's address that. Hey, we embrace mommy's different. People called on your mommy because she's different. Of course, sex trafficking allegations is something we take seriously as well. This is what we're addressing, but we don't demonize that. And then let's address the fact that I do go for therapy and I embrace my mental health and channel it in a positive way.
Thank you, Miss Sparrow. Miss Costelli, should we also put in a psychosocial and a psychological evaluation for the child that we suspect may have autism?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Right, so we agree with that. Okay, so we do have all the services here that were just discussed.
And I'm actually
ACS will reach out.
happy.
Miss Sparrow.
Yes, I'm feeling good that
sorry?
I'm happy that we're addressing her autism, because that was a big weight on my shoulders. I was putting out there that I might be autistic, and I have no diagnosis, there's no official, but I was doing that so that she could embrace it, because when we started discussing it, she started feeling bad about it. And then I told her it just makes her unique. So that's so you can understand. So this addressing me as a mental health as a problem is going to set an example, like her mental health will be a problem.
Miss Sparrow, I just want to say I am truly sorry that you experienced such negative response from the hospital and EMS, but I could assure you that on this panel, your mental health is not used as a weapon.
Thank you.
Okay? I just need to say that because everybody in the world has some sort of mental health, whether it's treated or untreated, right? And we just want you to know that on this forum, we are not using it as a negative aspect. I appreciate you being very transparent in sharing that you're engaged in services and that you are complying with the medication that they're giving you. And we want to support you the best way we can. But ACS has to ensure the safety of of your children, and this is part of their job. But please know that we would never weaponize anyone who has a reported mental health concern. Okay?
Thank you. Now my next thing is,
You're welcome.
one, I appreciate you, and I see the respect, ladies. I do. Thank you. my next thing is, once I give you guys the evidence to corroborate what's happening with my family as far as the trafficking is concerned, targeting them, I would like for us to address introducing your anti-trafficking unit, if possible, if the evidence is sufficient enough for you guys.
Well, let's work on getting you where you need to be so your children could reunite and get you all back together as a strong family unit, and then you could revisit that other stuff later on.
Okay, but
Does that make sense?
Yes, I just also want to be concerned that I recently came across an article where a young man was under foster care and he was kidnapped while the foster parent, looked the other way. So I just want to like, that's where I get scared, because I don't want I that's why I was like, let's address you guys being an asset. I don't want us to be distracted on trying to just address me. I want us to also address the fact that if we see something, we say something, especially since the girls are limited with their phones, which is their recording device. It's a self defense tool that they use. So even if we can put other solutions in place and stuff like that, I even engaged
Okay,
the officers
one
there.
second, Ms. Barrett. Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Miss Graham, when you spoke earlier about 360, I really didn't hear. My phone was going in and out. Can you talk about what the 360, what was going on with the children and the 360?
So it's an app, a locating app that you choose who has your location. They have your location and know where you going, when your phone is turned on, when it's turned off.
Yeah.
Tariana is sharing her location with someone in Canada and someone in Kansas.
Oh yeah, she did tell me
Now she
about
did
something like that briefly, but I
One
didn't think
right.
second, Miss
that was
Farrow. Let
recently.
her finish, let her
Sorry.
finish, Miss Farrow, and then you can speak.
So
Hmm.
during while I was there at the children's center, she made me aware that they have a location. They have like this thing where every 4 hours she comes outside, turn her location on, so they know that she's still at the children's center. She
Okay.
did also make me aware that it was said that the guy or whoever her friend is in Canada would pay for her to get a passport.
Mm,
That is a concern.
okay, so at this point, being that you just mentioned that, can we do a screening tool, a sex trafficking screening tool based on that, Ms. Costelli?
So she's going to have the interview tomorrow. The National Center for Sex Trafficking and Exploitation was also informed of possible sex trafficking as well, so they're involved. And then we have a unit who gets involved in cases like this as well.
Great.
Wonderful.
Great.
I think
But
that
So
makes
that is
but
a red
when
flag.
the mother when Miss Sparrow sees her tomorrow, this needs to be addressed. And I don't
Yes,
know if you are going to take her phone away or shut her location off or something,
I
because
was already
she's putting
questioning that
herself in a
young.
dangerous
So I
situation.
was already questioning that young man because she was so. This was what I was questioning with her about him, and he's actually a transgendered woman, young girl who is a man now. That's to be clear. That's another thing to clarify. So she was checking with this person, always like, what am I gonna wear? And she told me about a programming. She's wanted to do psychiatry. She was telling me about a programming called Ramcoa. And when she described this programming of Ramcoa, her checking in with this young man, the way she was doing it, I had already started recently questioning that. And the one he's from, this is the one from Canada. So I was gonna deal with that, but this situation intervened. This came up to my attention the past 2 weeks. I would say about within the two and a half weeks, and I did discuss the concern about the fact that she was checking in with this person all the time. What am I gonna wear? What should I wear? And then she will be like, I'm gonna ask such and such to choose my outfit, and then she will go with whatever this person was telling her. So my concern is there might be some grooming there, and I was already getting red flags with this. Now for the 360, she had explained that to me, which was another thing that had came up, but everything was a distraction. The fighting with the neighbors, all this was all distracting me. So I'm glad we're addressing that. Yes, I was already concerned about that. Go ahead, Unique.
Thank you. So my question was for Ms. Costelli, actually. I just wanted to clarify, in addition to the services, the children are going to be forensically interviewed and we're including the sex trafficking unit? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, because somebody called the hotline and reported it to the hotline.
Okay, thank you.
I reported
right,
stuff.
so-
I reported it to the hotline. I was already reporting stuff to the hotline, and they gave me a case number for FBI. So, I would like to, yeah, thank you. Because I was already working
Okay.
on getting them passports.
Ms. Sparrow, thank you so much for your participation during this conference. If there's anything else, this concludes our conference for the day. And good luck with everything, Ms. Sparrow. Your CPS team will be in contact with you. I'll be debriefing now with the CPS team and Ms. Collins at this time. Thank you again, Ms. Sparrow.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Sparrow.
Bye.